And the first thing we need to talk about today is this Gypsy Rose Blanchard situation. Right, Gypsy says that she never wanted to be famous, but a recent release from prison has made her one of the biggest stars on the internet. Like, it felt like everything on the internet was either Gypsy Rose or Cat Williams related for a little bit. With the Gypsy Rose situation, of course, it's important to remind everyone like how everything started. She's the victim of a form of abuse known as Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Her mom, when she was at a very, very young age, convinced her that she suffered from a variety of health disorders, even pulling her out of school to undergo serious procedures, forcing her to use a wheelchair, shaving her head, even though Gypsy was actually totally fine. And that continued until Gypsy was in her 20s. She started catching on to some of her mom's manipulation. She was like aware that she could walk. And then she met a guy on a dating site, and that escalated to her planning her escape and deciding to murder her mom. And so one night, Gypsy let this boyfriend into the house and he stabbed her mom to death. And while he was sentenced to life and they're no longer together, Gypsy Rose pled guilty to her role in the crime and was sentenced to only 10 years in prison. Though she ended up only having to serve 8 of those years after being released around 2 weeks ago. Though you've already probably been to a varying degree kind of familiar with this situation, right? Because it was an incredibly high-profile one. It got big media coverage, there were major TV adaptations. And so when she got released from prison, there was a major media frenzy. And ahead of getting out, she told People magazine that she wishes that the murder actually never happened, explaining, "I was desperate to get out of that situation. Nobody will ever hear me say I'm glad she's dead or I'm proud of what I did. I regret it every single day." Though in general, the public has been very much on her side. Because the abuse was so insane and severe, a lot of people have sympathy for her, which is also why the spectacle and reaction to this has been so massive. Like, every media outlet wanted in on this. She's already made appearances on Good Morning America, Entertainment Tonight, The View, The Cover of People. She's been on podcasts. She's everywhere. The only thing I haven't seen is her popping on Rogan to talk about elk meat and DMT. And all of this is very much expected to continue. A lot of this appears to be connected to, an ebook and a Lifetime documentary just being released, both of which have had press tours and have come up during those interviews. So, with this huge cultural fascination around her, you have people putting out think pieces like Slate, writing Gypsy Rose is charming, she's cute, she's funny, and she's currently living one of the most unique lives on planet Earth. And I'm going out on a limb here, I don't think she's ever going to assist in a murder ever again. America is home to so many disreputable scammers who find a second life on social media like Anna Delvey and O.J. Simpson. Gypsy Rose, meanwhile, is a million times more sympathetic than all those low lives, and she should be allowed to enjoy the fruits of her fame. But this is others are a bit more concerned, right? Because as interview clips of her are going viral on TikTok or other posts asking things like,
"Watching that happen has truly been like watching a dystopian movie. I kind of feel like we should just leave her alone, but she also doesn't want to be left alone. But also I'm like, maybe she doesn't really know what she wants." It's just weird. I just feel like people are going to be going after her like vultures.
So there is no doubt that people care and are interested. Gypsy now having 8 million followers on Instagram, another 9 million on TikTok. Between her social media posts and her interviews, the public has been learning everything about her. Her thoughts on her time in prison, to her favorite Taylor Swift era. Then you get details on her getting married while she's in prison, then multiple stories about her sex life. And so with this, you have a lot of people noting that this is a pretty big whirlwind for someone who just got out of prison barely 2 weeks ago. Are people concerned and saying, this feels like a lot for a girl who presumably has a lot of childhood trauma to unpack, while not only having to adapt to the real world after years of prison, but the unreal world of internet fame. But right now, she does appear to be rolling with it.
I don't even comprehend it at this point,
Really?
because for me, I'm just another face in the crowd. So when I came out of prison, I didn't expect this giant wave of social media. I'm posting selfies just like the next person would, or the next person, not thinking anything of it. And before I know it, it has 2 million views. It's an adjustment.
So again, you have many concerned about the situation and Gypsy herself. One, because the public is a fickle bitch. They'll all be on your side for one moment and then completely switch. And two, you have people like Mark Feldman, a psychiatrist and expert on Munchausen by proxy, telling Insider, "Nobody really seems to be asking the question of what is best psychologically for Gypsy, and I wish more people would." And adding, while she hasn't done anything to curtail this fame, he can't fault her for capitalizing on it either, saying Gypsy is looking to become financially secure and to have her reputation redeemed. And adding, "I think there's probably going to be a lot of pressure on her to accept every media opportunity and stay very involved with social media, because not only does she need to make money, but there are people around her who want to make money off her." But also adding here, this can come with limitations, arguing she has little education and no evident job skills, and I don't blame her for seeking money for her story, but I hope that she isn't surprised or upset when interest fades, as it eventually will. And then going on to say that any publicist that she is working with right now, they do not have her best interests at heart in the long run. You even have people like Patricia Arquette, who played Gypsy's mom in a Hulu series, concerned about her social media rise, telling People, "I think from someone who had a very specific, difficult childhood to come into this age of Instagram craziness, TikTok, I don't know. I hope it's not too much, and I hope people are gentle on her, and I hope she enjoys her freedom. With this situation, I would love to know where you land on this. What are your thoughts on Gypsy's rise to fame since her release? Are you concerned for her as well, or do you think the concerns are overblown? Or really any thoughts on the situation? Because I know there are a number of different conversations that are happening right now. Are you happy about the fame? Are you one of the people that are disgusted by it? Any and all thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. The whys and why nots, please.